Now, Gabby, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay. So I am a 2001 graduate of St. Vincent College in Latrobe. I grew up in Vandergrift and went to Kiscari High School. I moved to Latrobe after I graduated, and I have a BFA in studio arts with a focus in graphic design and a minor in art history. So after I graduated, I started working at the Latrobe Art Center, where I was their graphic designer and their webmaster, and then I worked my way up to executive director. So I was their executive director for 7 years, and then in October of 2017, I resigned, and it was time for me to move on and open my own studio and do my own thing and what I love to do.
Mm-hmm. And now I'm wondering, how has Art is Good affected or helped you to live out Fred's philosophies?
Well, from the time I was very little, every morning I would start with Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, followed by Sesame Street, you know, all the morning shows. But every morning I would watch Fred, and then because I have osteogenesis imperfecta, so that it's a brittle bones disease. So when I was little, I had a lot of breaks. I was in full body casts, and I was just very fragile, and so I spent a lot of time at home, immobilized, not being able to move for 6 weeks or so. And so I just love to color, and I love to draw. And my grandfather made me, he was a very handy man, and he made me my first easel that as I was, laying down in bed, I could, color and draw. And that, looking back now, that was my release and how I dealt with all of my major traumas in my life when I was little. And I couldn't go out and, play or do what the other kids were doing, but it didn't matter to me because I had, my art around me, and I was happy. I was in my happy place all the time. So I started private lessons when I was in 2nd grade, and I started, just loving it and loving music as well. I played piano for 14 years as well. So, music and art was very, very important to me. And so with Fred, I always would just remember him looking at you at the very end of each episode and just staring right into your eye and saying, "You're special, you're unique, you're you." And that always stuck with me because when he looked at you, it felt like he was looking at you and talking right to you. And so when I began teaching and I began working with an array of different personalities and different, I realized that, like looking at them and making them feel special and unique, just like Fred made me feel special and unique. That was what I wanted to do, and that was how I wanted to make everybody feel. And I wanted them to be able to come into my studio and feel free to be whoever they are and not worry about, anything. Just that was their time to be them and to be themselves. And whatever they created on their paper, whether it was scribbles, whether it was abstract, whether it was realism, it was art because they created it. And so he lives with me every day. And that's what I got from him.